Hello everyone. The topic for my RPP is falling crude oil prices. What is crude oil? Crude oil is naturally occurring unrefined petroleum composed of hydrocarbons which is further refined into gasoline, petrochemicals, diesels, etc. Crude oil is very well known as black gold. There are basically two types of crude oil. First is WTI, that is World Texas Intermediate, and the second one is Brent. So what's the difference between these two? WTI crude oil has less sulfur content in it and it is easy to dig out from the ground, whereas Brent has high sulfur content and it is a bit hard to dig out from the ground. There is a measure known as API gravity. API stands for American Petroleum Institute. This is opposite of relative density, that API gravity of oil is being compared to water. If API gravity is more than 10, the oil is lighter and it floats over the water. Whereas if it is less than 10, then it sinks in the water and is heavy. Brent crude oil is basically sour as it has great sulfur content, whereas WTI tastes sweet as it has less sulfur content in it. The other type of general crude oil is the crude oil which is being provided by OPEC countries, that has 32.7 API gravity measure. It is the sourest oil ever found. This is the current price of crude oil, which is $50.99 as per 26 February 2015, morning 7 o'clock. The current price of WTI crude oil per barrel is, as discussed, $50.99 per barrel, and the price per barrel for Brent crude oil as per 26 February 2015, morning 7 o'clock, is $61.63 per barrel. So basically this was the notion. We can see on the faces of Russia, OPEC countries at large. These are basically the OPEC countries: Iraq, Kuwait, Iran, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Libya, Algeria, Nigeria, Angola, UAE, etc. OPEC country stands for Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. So the countries which produce oil and export, and their main budget consists through the oil revenues, have formed an organization very well known as OPEC countries. The basic determinants of the price, what is that? Yes, it is demand and supply. The situation which is created right now is that supply has been increased and demand has been low at this point of time. What are the causes behind such kind of weird conditions? The first reason is American interference. America before had a very less content of crude oil which they found, and they started digging it out. But in recent last 2 years we can discover very easily that they have increased their crude oil production immensely, and it is expected that it will increase more thereafter in the future. The second one is low prevailing economical conditions. There are very much low economical conditions prevailing in the countries like Europe, China and Japan. As we all know, that China is the most populated country and the countries with most industries. It needs a very large amount of crude oil. But due to weak economical conditions, they have tried and made the imports of crude oil very less, which is also a big cause for the downfall of the crude oil price. A big question mark for market share. OPEC countries at any cost or doesn't agree to reduce their production as they are concerned for their market share. If they stop down their production, other competitors are ready to fulfill the other countries' needs on behalf of OPEC. Another very big reason is turmoil in Iraq and Libya. As we all know that ISIS has a huge impact on Iraq. Most of the oil wells in Iraq have been captured by ISIS, and they aren't allowing the government to raise their control over the oil wells. The other is Libya. There is an internal conflict in the Libya about the political parties named GNC and the people or the community living over there. As GNC leader wanted to imply the Sharia law as per the Muslims, he want to implement that, but the Caliph Haftar of Libya ignited the public and raised their voices against the government. So as we all know that when there is an internal conflict or internal imbalance in a country, they cannot concentrate more on this crude oil. What was the impact on the world for the falling crude oil prices? Firstly, the impact on Russia. This is Mr. President of Russia, Vladimir Putin. As in India, we have 5-year budgetary plan. Russia has a 3-year budget plan, which was affected heavily as no one knew that the prices of the crude oil will ruin down up to $50 or 50%, we can say directly. So entire budget was ruined. Russia's budget is dependent on 70% exports of crude oil. But as the prices are hampered, the 70% budget of the Russia is a mere failure in it. Danger warning given by the World Bank to Russia that if the crude oil prices prevail continuously right now, then there will be a decrease of 0.7% GDP in Russian economy, which is a very big decrease in the global world and we can say global economy. There is a very hypothetical situation created in Russia. If there is a $1 decrease in the price of crude oil per barrel, Russia has to suffer a loss of $2 billion. Secondly, the effect on USA. Here is Mr. President Barack Obama on a very safe side. Today, USA is producing 9.6 million crude oil barrels per day till date. It is expected by the experts that USA will create or produce 19 million barrels crude oil by 2019, which will be the greatest production in the history of crude oil, keeping behind Saudi Arabia and Russia. There is an investment of $2 trillion collectively both by US government and private companies. There are 100 private companies which are associated with this project and ready to help government in terms of finance. This project will bring $300 billion more to the economy, which is a very big figure for US. If you all are following the news, Due to the recessionary trend in the economy, USA, we can hear more unemployment problems over there. But due to this project, it will bring 1 million new job opportunities for the Native Americans of the. There is a massive cutthroat competition, but as I talked before, there is a huge investment backing up. There is no need to worry for USA. What will be the impact on OPEC countries? Arabia. This is Abdullah Saleh Al Badri, the chairman of OPEC. This is Ali Al Naimi, the Honorable Oil Minister of Saudi Arabia. The Prince of Saudi Arabia, Al Walid bin Talal. This person is a very influential person as far as the Saudi Arabia is concerned. In the early phase of 2014, he warned the Saudi Arabian government to keep the oil price per barrel to $90 or $92 per barrel, as he knew about the crisis in the future. But the government denied of this proposal and didn't even respond to this prince. And now they are paying a huge price for the loss. This prince in his interview once said that it is unbelievable to say that crude oil price per barrel will rise again to $100 per barrel. Seeing to present conditions, he is unaware that such prices might reach in future. As Saudi Arabia and Iraq has not much to worry as their reserves of $700 billion. But here is a very big question in the minds of experts and the people at large, that till what time or what span of years till this fund may be used as a backing up for the deficits, etc. But it is a real question to ponder upon, that Saudi Arabia and Iraq takes what steps in the future. Again, a question of market sustainability and market share. They are not ready to reduce the supply, as the Prince Al Walid bin Talal said in his interview that there will be two kinds of losses will be suffered or being observed by Saudi Arabia if they reduce the supply of crude oil. The first loss is that it is not a problem for Saudi Arabia to reduce the oil production by 1 or 2 million barrels per day. But here the problem occurs is that if they will reduce their crude oil production, then the competitors are ready to make their market in the globe. And the other problem is the other barrels which they are producing, the prices are already down. So they will have a two-way problem if they reduce their supply. So instead, to maintain their supply and let go of the falling prices per barrel of crude oil. The production cost. It is quite obvious that if you don't have extra fund or money, how can you make a new production or a new project in the crude oil? This is the real question which triggers the minds of the ministries or the heads of the Saudi Arabia. This is the OPEC break-even levels, which clearly states that, for example, if Iran wants to revive its economy at present times, the crude oil barrel should be $140 per barrel to revitalize its economy. The other example we take of Venezuela, if the crude oil price per barrel is $121, it will be a very good situation for Venezuela government to revive its economy back. What will be the effect on India, our country, our nation? He is the most praised Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, a very determined current times, the Indian homemade production is 8.9 lakh barrels per day. If they get that, that it is referred to the government of India. If government of India gets the crude oil price at cheaper rates, on the opposite end, that is in the public's end, the people have to pay a less price for this oil. So there will be a huge benefit to the country. A very same similar situation or opposite of Russia, that if $1 per barrel of crude oil decreases, then there will be the savings of $40 million. There will be no more deficits. There will be more development in revitalization. Is the Honorable Finance Minister of India, Mr. Arun Jaitley, who currently in a press conference said the money which will be saved from the profit which will achieve from the lowering down of the crude oil prices, so that fund will be used in reducing the deficits and the leftover will be spent in the development of the country and economy at large. We can see more budget which we will have to wait till 20th February 2015, when Finance Minister will present the budget in the Parliament, and we'll come to know that what are the major benefits given to the consumers as far as the oil or the petrol is concerned.
Sitä puuhasta pidetään. Onkohan mä liian hiljaa? Koska en tiedä oikein, missä itse on.
Thank you very much for seeing my presentation. I hope that you learned a lot from this presentation and it might help you in the future studies or as a reference source. Thank you.